I just added my lip gloss like Lainey Brookshire. I didn't do it on camera though. Hey Dee, hey Dawn. Dawn, you have been quiet lately. I want to know what's going on with you, girl. Hey Becca. Oh wow. Okay, Vicky's here. Hey Vicky. Okay, so this is obviously working since you guys are here. I am so excited that you're here. Thank you so much. Hey Alicia. Alicia Ewers, where are you from? Please tell us. Jennifer King is on. Hey Jennifer, your competitor analysis is uploading right now. I am so sorry that I was having technical difficulties earlier tonight. Lena's on. Jenny, hi Jenny. Okay, I'm so excited. So, sorry, I feel like we spend maybe a little bit too much time like going, oh my gosh, hi, every week. And maybe that's not fun if you're watching the replay. But if you're watching the replay, please come join us live so that I can meet you and greet you. That's like one of the best parts about it. If you're watching the replay in the group, thank you so much. If you're watching on YouTube, please leave a comment, like, subscribe. That would be awesome. But also, please come join the group. So the group is called Pro Organizer Studio. We are on Facebook. We do a live chat pretty much every Tuesday night at 9 o'clock. So that is what we do here. And we have different topics every week. And we always try to read the comments at the same time. Dawn says she's been working and she's been missing her daughter. I'm so sorry to hear that. I guess she must be like out on summer break now. Shannon's here. Hey, Shannon. Heidi is on. Hey, girl. It's her first time. Okay, good. Jenny says we love the haze. Very personal. Good, because I don't want to give it up. I just want to tell people to come on over and join us. Okay, Alicia. Okay, Alicia is in Orange County, California. Okay, awesome. Jennifer, woohoo. Yes, woohoo. So much to woohoo about in that video. I'm so excited that you're going to get that, Jennifer. Okay, so not earlier this week. Last week, speaking of introductions, I don't know if anybody, because some of you guys have been watching me since I first started doing these, and I got a long way to go, but I will say I think I've improved a little bit. But when I first started, I was like, oh my gosh, I need like an introduction that I could give every time because I just would fumble through it. And last week, one of our group members, also one of the masterclass girls, Darren, said she prompted me to give my elevator speech, not for just for my organizing business, because she was looking for like some inspiration for hers in her organizing business. But I realized I really need one for Pro Organizer Studio, don't I? And if I had one, then I could put it on my, I don't know, LinkedIn. I could actually tell people that I've been doing this, and I could also use it as an introduction in my videos. So I'm gonna bounce this off you guys, and you tell me what you think. Okay, this is what I wrote earlier this week, and I did post it on my LinkedIn, but oh no, I'll probably change it 15 times because that's how I do things. Pro Organizer Studio is a branding and marketing, I was gonna say agency, that seems kind of snooty, but company. It's a small business enabling you to create, evolve, and grow your own high-end professional organizing business. That's it in a nutshell, but it also doesn't really encompass like, kind of the learning, like that's why I put in evolve, because there's like ways to learn more about your business. There's ways to learn more about running a business for free, or you have paid options. Like I want it to kind of encompass like all that we do here. And so I'm still working on it, but that's what we're going with for now. If you guys have any ideas, I would love to hear them. Okay, Hunter's on, Natalie's on, Sandy is here. Hi, Danielle. Okay, and also, I can't do that. I got a text from Danielle earlier today saying that she was so slammed busy that she didn't even know what to do next. And she was like, well, it's a good problem to have in her business. But I just thought it was kind of funny because it's like, yeah, we do get to a point where we actually have done all the things to start our business and to grow our business. And then all of a sudden it's like you actually have more clients than you know what to do with. And And that is perfect. So whether you are starting or whether you are growing or whether you are Danielle Berger, I'm glad that you're here tonight because we're going to talk about planning and prioritizing in your business no matter what stage that you are at. So Dawn says, what about house in place of agency? I like that idea too. A branding and marketing house? Well, I wanted to go with I could call it just a studio since that is part of the name. I wanted it to allude to the fact that you can design the business that you want. And I didn't put those words in there yet either. So we'll figure that out. All right. Hunter said, hey girl, April's here. Lee's here. Vayana. Okay. Awesome. Ashley, Ashley asked, are these live videos saved on the page or do I need to watch now? I hate to miss. Yes, they are. You can view them in the group, in Pro Organizer Studio group, or they do get reposted to YouTube eventually, not immediately. Currently, it's within the next 2 or 3 weeks after they originally air. Okay, Vicky said, I just rewatched one of the old videos today. It was awesome, and I couldn't help thinking how this has grown in such a short time. You go, girl. Thank you so much. Well, it would not grow without you guys and without the fabulous girls who have become a part of it to help me out. But I am so happy that you guys continue to show up to listen to me talk because this is something I never get tired of talking about. Okay, so if you guys are new to the group or new on the YouTube channel or whatever, and you're new to Pro Organizer Studio and you're like, whoa, you do all that and I do, and what? All right, so what you want to do is you want to actually go to my website, which is proorganizerstudio.com, and start with the free email course. It was very recently revamped a little bit. Start with the free email course because that's going to give you some of the foundational topics that we talk about and build on in these chats. Oh my gosh, Jody said I have pretty hair. Thank you. It is so much work, and I really appreciate you saying that. Danielle said, so Danielle said, can I just give a quick plug for our girl Hunter? She is amazing. I just got done with a call with her earlier, and I'm ready to rock my social media. Okay, so this is Danielle, who recently launched a guide or a mini course with Pro Organizer Studio, and she is giving props to Hunter, who is our social media expert, and Hunter will also do social media packages for your business, whether it's just to get you started or to do it all for you. It depends on where you are. But so these are two of my fabulous team members loving on each other, which I love. Kim said, I finally watched the subcontractor video last night. It makes me want to get started now and then quit my job. Yeah. Well, if you follow Danielle's advice, you will have Danielle's problems probably because now she is so overwhelmed she doesn't know what to do next. Heidi says, almost done with the email course. I'm so excited about all this. The free course has been an awesome place to start. Thank you so much for saying that. That email course was an idea in my head about this time. Well, it's been an idea in my head for a long time, but about this time a year ago, I really started saying to myself, I just have to get this out there, even if only 2 people listen to me. I got to get it out. So that's how all this started. Okay, so tonight our topic tonight is planning and prioritizing in your business. And I have so much to talk about this topic because for one thing, I am really nerdy about a few things, and I have no problem admitting that. But one of the things that I'm really nerdy about is project management, the formal methods of project management that you would learn and get certified in if you worked for a company. Why? Because I actually considered changing my career to that once I realized that I could be, making all these plans I'm going to do anyway. This is how I am. This is what I do. And I could get paid really well for it. I was like, oh, okay. So that's a skill set that obviously companies need. And if I, really, buckled down and decided to go that track, maybe I could become a project manager. So I actually really seriously considered that for a while. And then I realized that I am not cut out for the corporate world. And so that was never going to happen. However, I actually know quite a bit about project management from my time spent in the corporate life. So that is kind of where my nerdy love of project management started. In fact, if you follow me on Snapchat, or if you've been following me on Snapchat for a while, you might even remember that I actually read an entire book about project management on a vacation earlier this year because I'm crazy. And I just got really excited about it. So that's point A. That's point A of why I'm excited about this topic. Point B is I have personally been struggling with this hardcore lately because I am in a completely new thing that I am doing with Pro Organizer Studio, and it's like, okay, I'm in a learning experience too, where it's like my to-do list is literally like, oh my God, it's so insane. And I'm like, I don't know what to do next because I don't know what's most important. I'm like, my brain is just firing like in 100 directions at a time. And so I have really been struggling with like that panic and overwhelm lately too. So I'm going to share some things that have been working for me. And then also, I have been seeing some posts in both the big group, the Pro Organizer Studio group, and also the group for the masterclass girls, of just being generally overwhelmed. Like, I'm so excited about this, but like, I'm the only one doing this, and you might be working, your full-time job still, your part-time job still, you really want to go full-time, or you're just still trying to figure out like how the heck to like get this off the ground so that you can have a profitable side hustle. And it's all kind of stress, the stress of it kind of gets to you. And the first thing I want to tell you guys is a lot of that is like completely normal, because when you are trying to launch something or start something and you're the only one, fulfilling all those roles across the business, it's completely normal to feel overwhelmed because not everybody has every skill in the book. Hunter's given a lot of love. Thank you. So we're going to talk about what exactly to do about it. Now, of course, you're going to have to cater this to your particular situation and exactly, where your skills lie versus another person. I personally came into my organizing business several years ago. I had some website experience. I have some graphic design background. That helped out a lot. I didn't have a whole lot of technical skills per se, other than that, but like I Google and learn like a mad woman. Like I just soak it all in and I can make it happen. So that's kind of a skill, is like being able to like be really comfortable with technology, and that's not something that everybody has, and that's completely okay. So we're going to figure out how to prioritize your list, actually start working on one thing at a time, because multitasking, I know everybody wants to be good at multitasking, but none of us are. It's a proven thing. So we have to like actually spread out like all of our cards that we have in our hand and figure out like what order to put them in, and who to ask for help. Okay, I see Gabrielle said, hey Jen, I finally made it. Melody says, I'm new here, excited to be a part. Christy is here. And Dawn said, I actually got asked if I would be willing to accept an account manager position at my company, so a promotion could be happening at some point. Account manager at her company means project manager. Okay, well, that makes a lot of sense, because the same skills that we bring to like wanting to be an organizer for other people, like it's a similar skill set. So it makes a lot of sense that you would be attracted to that opportunity. And if it's something that you want to do, then by all means, and especially if it's a move up from something that you are not enjoying as much right now. So, and I'm all for like, gaining as many skills as possible, especially when somebody else is paying you to learn how to do new things. That's huge leverage that you could use. Okay, Francine is here. She said, hi from South Florida. Excited to be here. Glad you're here. Okay, so what I mentioned when I posted, this is not like a requirement, but I will just tell you that tonight I'm going to be walking you guys through my business planning workbook that I designed specifically for you guys, and I know you guys really well. Okay, now we all have different personalities and different backgrounds. Sorry, but a lot of us are like super perfectionistic, and that's kind of part of the problem. Like underlying what we're talking about tonight is because you don't just want to get it all done. You want it all done now, and you want it all done perfectly. And we can't have either one of those things. But we're gonna try to get there. Okay, so I designed a business planning workbook, and this says June. I think it's mirror image. Okay. This business planning workbook lives inside the resource library, which is another one of the things that Pro Organizer Studio offers. And the resource library is very low cost, like monthly subscription based, because there are new things added and there will be things taken away every month. And so you want to go to proorganizerstudio.com/library, and the business planning workbook is like a major feature of what is there. There's some other things that, and this gets updated every month because this says June, and we are in June. And if you're watching this at any point in the future and it's not June, all you have to do is log in and get the one for the month that it is. If you are a new member, you can get a free month with the code PO Studio. Jenny said, you just described me to a T, very OCD. Vicky said, I took the coursework to get my PMP certification. That's project manager certification. I thought I was a planning nerd until I met those folks. Yes, Vicky, you and I actually have such a similar background because I was in communications also, doing graphic design, web design, writing, internal marketing, communications, all of that stuff. And then I was like, I think I should be a project manager too. And then I was like, whoa. Like the level of formality that like everything is just, it's actually painful. It's way too much. So yes, I feel you on that. Okay. So sorry, I was pausing to read the comments, but I'm jumping right back. Okay, so in the resource library every month, this is updated, as well as we have different challenges, giveaways. Right now we're doing a giveaway for a day designer planner, super on topic. I didn't really mean for it to be, but I'm planner obsessed because like we all are. Like I have to write things in a paper planner and I want it to be beautiful, so I am giving away a day designer to one of you, and you don't even have to do anything. All you have to do is log in to the resource library, enter your name and which one you want to win, and then I'm going to do a drawing. So there you go. So that's part of the resource library. We're going to do giveaways, challenges. We already had 2 challenges already where we had winners. Like, so it's really fun, but also we're doing there's a ton of like start your business type of resources in there, such as, you know, links for, you know, information that you need for your state. Several different kinds of spreadsheets that you are going to need to get you started, and then we also give you stock photos, give you like printable office art. There's some social media graphics in there right now, so just like a lot of different things that are going to change and evolve and grow every month. So that's a little bit about the resource library. I'm glad you love it, Ashley. I'm so excited. So I just wanted you guys to know, Becca said love language. She's talking about this workbook, this business planning workbook. I made sure to put all those love words in there for Becca. She loves it. I love it. Okay, so I'm sorry. I'm trying to get back to the topic, but I want you guys to know where this is if you want to get it. And I mentioned you get a free month on your first month, and you can subscribe or unsubscribe at any time. It's something that is meant to be very accessible and easy for your business, but keep you accountable and on track for the things that you need to do to get your ass in gear, okay? All right, so here's Business Planning Workbook. I'm going to walk you through this, and I'm going to actually explain why I made it the way I made it. And hopefully this is going to help you guys with your current to-do list, which may be insane like mine. I mean, honestly, everybody's is insane. So, okay. This, Lena says she's thankful. I'm thankful for you. Thank you so much. Okay. So in the resource library, it actually says, you know, here's your business planning workbook for June. This is based on SCRUM project management principles. I actually wrote that in the description because I wanted you guys to know I didn't just make this up out of nowhere. This is actually studied, and I'm trying to be so general, and I really encourage you, like, if you are interested in this at all, like I am, like, to go read a book about it because it's fantastic. It's like it's for certain ones of us that are like planning obsessed and like are super into this. It's the kind of thing that will just make your whole entire life will suddenly seem to come together. This book I recommend. This is one of the ones I recommend. SCRUM This is actually the project management, framework that I'm talking about here. And this book is called The Art of Doing Twice the Work in Half the Time. And they are not joking, because I actually, I feel like there were like 10 different pages I actually just wanted to read to you guys, but I picked one. And I don't really have, like, this is an awful way to show this to you, like, just because, I'm broadcasting live on my phone. But here's what I want to show you. And this is just, I'm trying to like set the groundwork for why I created this planning workbook the way that I made it. Okay. There is a graph. I do not know if I can actually show you this at all. No, I can't. There is a graph in here. Actually, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn this to the book because, all right, I'm smarter than I seem like I am. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see this. Can you see this graph? Okay, Jennifer says she's buying this. This is hilarious. Okay, this graph is called prioritizing between projects. Okay, and this actually says, okay, pretend like you have these projects and just kind of generalize this to your business, okay? Project A has 3 parts to complete it. Project B has 3 parts to complete it. Project C has 3 parts to complete it. Okay, this says traditional strategy. Everything is important. Do it all at once. Does anybody else have that exact message going on in their brain all the time? Because I do. This is why we are the way that we are, because we need to do everything all at the same time, and it's got to be amazing. Okay, right? Okay, so I just want to make sure we're on the same page with this. Okay, so traditional strategy, everything is important, do it all at once. All right, now you get to go back to the graph. Hello. All right. Okay, so this says, and I'm trying to okay, don't look at this yet. Don't look at the next part. Okay, so you actually see, they're showing you like a timeline of the project, okay? So A1, B1, C1, A2, B2, C2, A3, B3, C3. Okay, so you actually start working a little bit on all of the projects, because especially when you are a solopreneur, which most of us, that's how we're going to start out, you start on one thing. I'm going to really drag this out, I know. You start on one thing, but you're like, oh my God, no, but now I have this other fire. And you're, even whether it's true or not, you're telling yourself I have to go do this other thing right now. You start your website, then you're like, but no, I really need to just get my business cards and get started. It's and I'm trying to bring this back to us specifically. You're trying to start your organizing business, or you've already started, and you do a little bit of each thing, because that's your brain is just jumping around constantly. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. This is exactly how I am too. Okay, this is actually not effective, and here's the reason why. This book actually goes into a lot of detail, but the reason why it doesn't work is because every single time you switch from one project or one task to another, you actually lose time, because your brain literally has to shut down that program, reopen the other program, and then open that back up. It's kind of like a computer, okay? And so your brain is just spinning like a beach ball, like your Mac, this is real life for me. My computer is way slower than my brain. I don't know why. And so what happens is the reason why, and I just showed you that timeline from January through July, the reason why it takes so long, even if you do a good job, on each part of your projects, even if you do a good job on, the time that you're spending, if you do a good job on the time that you're spending on each one, it's still going to take you longer, because the more you jump around, the more time you spend actually just lost, because you're it's that cost of multitasking, task switching is super real. It's a studied thing. It's not made up. Okay. So this is a quote from the book. We all live in a world where there are multiple demands on our time. So obviously not just, the multiple projects involved with starting a business. It's actually starting a business, having a job, having a family, trying to have a real life, self-care. Okay. People want different things from us, blah, blah, blah. It says, what I want you to do, though, is to be very conscious of the cost of context switching. It's very real, and you should try to minimize it. Okay, so we're going to bring this back and just talk about within your business, because obviously we can't solve all of our issues in one Facebook Live as far as how to be actual superwoman. and do all those other things with, life and 2 jobs and all the kids and all that. Okay, but here's the actual graph. We're going back to the graph. The Agile strategy, that's another word that goes along with the SCRUM framework. The Agile strategy, priorities and focus. Okay, these boxes, A1, A2, A3, that's all related to your first project. Let's call that your website, okay? A1, A2, A3. Then you do B1, B2, B3. Then you do C1, C2, C3. Okay, what they actually describe in a different part of somewhere in the same chapter is that you're actually not spending like this box should be the same size as this box because it's the same amount of time that you're spending here, but the project gets done in May because you don't lose the time in between to your task switching, the cost of context switching in your brain and in your life. Okay, here's another graph. Number of simultaneous projects. If you have 1 project, you have 100% of time available per project. You don't lose any time to context switching. If you have 2, you lose 20%. 3, 40%. So if you have 5 projects, you actually spend 75% of your time doing nothing productive, like at all. It's just like that's your brain's processing time, like with like the spinning beach ball or like the hourglass, Okay, so now guys, we have a little bit of framework for where all this comes from. I'm not trying to give you more panic. I'm actually trying to help you guys do something that I am not great at, but I am actually trying to help you guys get to that point where you just realize I am actually not going to get more done by like having that squirrel kind of focus, like, okay, I got to do this, got to do this, got to do this. You're not going to get more done. You're going to get less done. So if you can actually tell yourself, and I know this is like the hardest thing in the world because it's hard for me too, that if you can just slow down and single task, and just do one thing until it's done. And I'm going to get a little bit more on this in a second because it's really exciting when you think about it this way. If you can just have one thing done until it's done, it's going to take a lot less time. And I know time is everything in life, but also in business. Okay. But the other thing is, all right, we're actually going to talk about how to prioritize what gets done. Because let's say that your first project, Project A, is something that once it's completely done will actually make you some money or at least bring you some clients or potential consultations or whatever it is while you work on Project B. Okay, this is actually a really important part of the SCRUM project management framework. I'm sorry I keep using that word, but I don't know what else to call it, is that you want to actually focus, like the way that you focus and the way that you prioritize is you pick the things that are going to actually fund the rest of the project. Like let's say you're a project manager for a piece of software and you launch like the beta version, and the beta version has enough features that you can actually start charging for it. Now if you're charging for it, then you are funding further development of the project, and then your app gets better and better and better. Okay, that's like an easy metaphor, but I think you guys can understand that. It's like that in your business. And so if you can actually just simplify, like dumb down like the next most important things for what you have to do, then your to-do list of like 100 things actually just becomes like 1 or 2 things that's like, okay, if I do this, everything gets easier from here on out. So it's kind of like little mini investments. Okay, I know you guys are like commenting a ton, and I'm so happy because I'm telling you, this is like something I'm so excited to talk about. All right, so here's the planner. Here's what you do in the planner, and you can do this even if you don't have the planner. But the planner makes it easy and it makes you focus on it. Okay, so the first thing you do is, I'm actually just going to read this to you. Look, I recommend you do, I give you this like as a month because the month is easy to understand. Okay, it's something we're already working with like on our calendars. Look over your upcoming month using your digital or your paper calendar, whatever is your favorite. How many, and I ask you this ahead of time because I want you to be realistic with yourself and not set yourself up for failure. How many total hours do you have to work on your business this month? That's what I ask you to go ahead and get like a rough idea. Some months are busier than others. Also, when you're at the beginning of your, even if you're starting, if you're starting a side hustle business and you're kind of just at the beginning of like designing it and thinking about it, you are going to have more hours to work on your business because you're not really working in your business yet. You don't have clients yet, but your goal is to get clients, right? And then let's take it all the way to, like Danielle. Danielle has more clients than she knows what to do with. And so she's so like scattered and overwhelmed. She actually probably has some time to work on her business, but she wants to be completely sure she's doing the right things so that her next month is not so crazy. Okay. So that's the first thing you do, is kind of like get like a realistic picture of what you can actually do. Okay. Then the next question is, what is on your big picture to-do list for your business? Get it all out of your head here. I don't know if this is a big enough space for some of you, but if it's not, you can flip over the page and just keep going. And if you're like me, oh my gosh, this is like one of my chronic problems, is that as organized as I am and as productive as I am, it's actually really weird and maybe fascinating that I do not have like a single to-do list method that I stick to even for myself. Like sometimes I get like in a totally like digital mode, and then other times I'm like, I have to have it written down or it's gonna make me crazy. So I actually switch back and forth all the time, which, God, talk about like losing efficiency. I'm sure that that's not efficient. And the other thing that drives me crazy is that when I do start writing things everywhere, they physically start spreading out. And sticky notes, like Lainey loves sticky notes. I can't deal with sticky notes. They actually make me more anxious. That's life. So I'm still trying to figure out my perfect to-do list method. But anyway, if I were to actually, what I do when and this, some people call this just like a brain dump, okay? You need to get everything out of your brain. When I do that, I do it most effectively on like just a huge piece of, in fact, I'm going to show you the one that I just did the other day because I'm going to talk about it. Just like a big ugly, like not three ring, but a really ugly wire notebook that has a lot of space just to write. So when I do this process, I really do write it out. So I gather all of my digital lists that I have somewhere. I write it all out because it's really helpful for me to see. And I have heard that your brain processes things differently when you write them than when you type them. But whatever works for you, let's not obsess about that. Okay, so that's basically step one, complete by day one. All right, so now we're going to get into the great part, because this is the part where probably you guys are not having a problem. Like, or you have a general idea of the million things that you need to do. Okay, so we're actually going to start talking about how to prioritize those things. So page 2 of your planner says, what should be done this month? That's the $1 million question. Select only what can fit into your available time frame in June. Okay, so we're going to pretend, and this is using a SCRUM piece of terminology. We're going to pretend like each month. Let's say in June I have looked at my calendar and I've seen that I actually have. I'm just throwing out a number. Let's pretend like I have an hour a day, basically, to work on my business. Like, after everything else that I have to do in my life, I know I have about an hour a day to work in my business. So let's say I have about 30 hours. I'm just making up a number. Okay, so I'm going to call my June block of time that's going to be 30 hours, and in July it might only be 10. Okay, but my June block of time that's 30 hours, we're going to call that my June sprint. And the word sprint means in this framework that you are focusing on one thing until it's done. Okay, that's like that timeline we just talked about. Like, you see A1, A2, A3. You do all those whether it's A1 to A50, you're going to do all of those A things until project A is done. Okay, and just for the purposes of this chat, we're going to use that website example. Like, let's pretend like, okay, my project A is doing my website. Doesn't mean it has to be done. It doesn't mean it has to be the final version that I never change again. It just means it has to be functional. Okay, remember we were talking about like creating an app that, you have a few features, you can launch it, it can start making you some money. Like, that's where we're trying to get to. Okay, now actually wrote in the planner, here's some questions to consider when we're talking about the question is what should be done this month, okay? Not, what do you feel like doing, or what did so-and-so say you need to do, or even what did I say you need to do, or the great new idea that you have because you got inspired by something. I mean, I'm telling you, like, this is my life. Like, this exactly, like, I get inspired, and then I want to work on that, and I'm like, wait a second, I got all these other priorities to do first, okay? All right, so select only what can fit in your available time frame, questions to consider, and here are the 3 questions I wrote. Low-hanging fruit. That means, is it easy for you to do with what you have? What's a good example of that? Creating a Pinterest board for your website, okay? It's not hard to create the Pinterest board. It's really not hard, and in fact, it's pretty enjoyable to spend an hour or 2 or 5 on Pinterest and start pulling together some ideas of other websites that you like, other organizers that you admire, like Pinterest. I mean, just kind of start gathering your ideas. So, like, let's say that's a low-hanging fruit item, okay? Another question to consider when you're looking at your big list is how long will it take? So if it's something that is, like, let's say you only have 10 hours to work on your business this month, and one of your things that you wrote on your brain list is blah blah blah. I don't know. I'm not coming up with a good idea, but anyway, how long will it take? If you have several things that are really important that don't take as long, you could maybe get all those done in one sprint. But if there's something that's probably going to take you 2 or 3 sprints, you need to recognize that and not try to fit, building a website when you're a complete beginner. You can't fit that into 10 hours. Like, you got to be realistic. Like, you need to look at your next 3 months and say, I need to really realize that I have to buckle down and work on this for June, July, and August. Okay, that's a good example. How long will it take? And then the third question, this is really important, will this, and this is when you're looking at like your whole like brain dump list, okay? Will this make money while you work on other things? Now, not everybody that I'm talking with or that is a student of mine is in the biggest hurry in the world to become profitable, but a lot of you are. So I think that, when you have those days where you are feeling very overwhelmed, and I have read this, on several people's posts recently, first of all, you got to get it all out of your head, because you can't keep it all in your head. Like, your brain is not a good storage place. Like, you need to extrovert it onto paper, or, I don't know, talk into like an audio recorder or something, and then go back later and make sense of it. But since we're all pretty organized people, obviously we're considering doing this for other people. You're probably good at writing things down. Just make a list, okay? Well, you need to comb back through that list. I have some additional questions for you to ask yourself when you are looking at your brain dump list. Becca Reynolds said, is she talking to me? Yes, I'm talking to you. All right. Okay, so here, I'm kind of giving you guys like a, this is kind of my latest and greatest productivity process. This is actually not a part of this planner, but here are some like additional questions. It's spoken from experience of what the heck to do with this long list of stuff that is facing you or looming above you in your business planning, prioritizing, and like, oh my God, I'm the only person trying to do all this stuff, and I'm not even a techie wizard or whatever. There's so many things, like we all have limitations that we're not great at. Okay. Once you brain dump everything, comb through the list and look for things that are revenue generating. That means also, I think that would also include actually fulfilling work that you've already been paid for, because you need to do that. So anything, I want you to go through the list, and I actually wrote down, this is diamond level. We're going to say these are diamond level tasks, okay? Diamond level is actually doing the client work that you've been paid for, and anything else that is revenue generating. Okay, so that would include things like getting your website done, because that is like creating an employee that works for you 24/7. Okay, it's super, super important. Another thing that will be revenue generating would be your marketing efforts. That's if your website is already done. So these are all kind of like high level, like diamond level activities. Okay, so I would go through your brain dump list and mark what your diamond level activities are, and you create a sprint for June where you only do those things. And it's super hard. It's like having to you got to just put blinders on, and all of the other stuff, you have to say, it's okay not to do that right now, or you need to ask for help to get your diamond level activities done if you can't do them yourself, or if it's going to take you 6 months, but you can hire a web designer to do your website for $700 like you can at Pro Organizer Studio, then you need to do that. It's kind of like you really need to weigh, what you can do versus how important it really is to your business, and how bad you need to make money. Now, if you don't need to make money that bad and you really want to screw around with your website for a few months, that's okay. That is okay. And I have no judgment, because, different people have different levels of comfort with investing in their business and how big of a deal they want it to be. So it's totally fine. And again, it's totally fine to just get something off the ground that you can improve later. So don't overthink it. I'm not telling you guys diamond level means you need to diamond spend on it, but oh my gosh, are we still here? It paused for a second. Okay. All right, so next thing, okay, after you have figured out what your diamond level activities are, we're going to go to regular gold star level, which you would think would be the top one, but it's not, okay? It's the next most important in my own scheme, okay? Is anything on your list that you have written, is it about creating systems or setting aside time to automate any tasks that would come up again and again and again? Okay, those are gold star level. Thank you, Hunter, for the likes. Those are gold star level activities, and you need to, Jenny said the sprint will help us in our personal lives too. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy that somebody is feeling me on this, because this gets me so excited. Okay, the gold star levels of your task need to be marked appropriately. That is anything that is going to create a system so that you don't have to keep thinking about these things in the future. You have an automated way to deal with it. And now, of course, I got to give you an example out of my notebook. This is my actual list from the other day. What did I put gold star for? Well, document a business system. Well, that was a big idea. And I did put a gold star for that, and I did start working on that. But let me give you an easier idea. And to be honest with you, this list that I wrote down the other day, was actually personal and business all together. But one of the things that I wrote down was figure out my kids' summer schedule, as in I created okay, Mondays we're going to do this, Tuesdays we're going to do this, Wednesdays we're going to do this, so that I don't have to ask myself every day this summer, what should I do this summer? It's just, I have a system, Tuesdays we're going to go on a field trip, Wednesdays we're going to do something in the water, Thursdays we're going to go on a picnic, go to a new park, blah, blah, blah. I actually did, yes, I did all this, and I'm sure that regular super moms, all of you guys probably do that already anyway. But I'll be honest with you, I'm a little bit not that formal when it comes to my regular life, because I like to be spontaneous. I don't know. So anyway, I actually came up with this system for my summer schedule. And so that would be a perfect example though, because what I'm talking about is anything in your business that can be automated or systemized, so that you don't have to think about it again, you already have a plan for it. And you could do that when it comes to your social media. Let's say one day you're going to focus on Pinterest, one day you're going to focus on Instagram, something like that, where it's just okay, I came up with a schedule, a system, it's done. Okay, that's a gold star level task in your big list, off your brain. Okay, then step 4 in my, I know, I'm sorry, I'm jumping around because I'm this is a system within a system, but I'm pretty excited about this. This is actually what I do. So after I put those diamond level tasks and the gold star level tasks together, then I actually put all the work-related one-time tasks, like if it's not about a system and it's not about something that is actually like revenue generating, it would be something like, for example, like a tech thing I needed to figure out, but it's not like super pressing. It's not keeping me from making money. But for example, I want to merge my personal and my work Gmail calendars together so I can actually see them at the same time, but I haven't taken the time to do that. So like that would be like a one-time, like I need to just get it done, but I haven't prioritized it because it's not keeping me from making money, right? But okay, so you put all your work-related one-time tasks together, either do them, delegate them, or delete them. Now that comes from plenty of other, productivity systems that are out there. So that is something that you guys probably recognize. I am not super good at delegating, but I have recently decided that I am good at delegating and I am going to ask for help. And so I have been, and I'm really happy about that. I'm also really not, I'm pretty good at deleting because I've probably gone through my to-do list already 100 times, like looking for things that really aren't that important to me because I'm really good at that. The same way I'm good at that in my house. Like I get rid of stuff I don't really need, love, use. I do that with my to-do list. So it's like I'm not really good at deleting anymore because it's there because it's important to me. Okay, and so then I do the same thing. The next step is I do the same thing for all my personal life, one-time tasks. Do them, delegate them, or delete them. And the reason why I put personal stuff, like I'm talking about this in a business, you really can never completely separate like your business to-do list and your personal to-do list. And because honestly, like you can only neglect your personal to-do list so long, even if you're only focusing on revenue generating activities in your business. If your personal stuff is not set up and working and functioning, like your business will just crumble. So that's why I always tell you guys, or I've said this many times before, I say this in the masterclass a ton, you have to prevent burnout as part of your job. Like that is part of your job of your business, is preventing the burnout that comes from not focusing on, regular self-care and that kind of thing. And trust me, I have gotten, like, I'm very like when I get really focused on something, like I can stay that way for 3 or 4 days. Like if nobody shows up and pulls me away from my computer, like I will sit here and not take a shower and eat cereal 4 times a day while I'm trying to get something done. So I've been there, done that. And I know that I feel a lot better, and that obviously any business that I run is going to go a lot more smoothly if I feel a little more put together. Okay. Then when it comes to actually doing the things that are on any of these lists, I generally, there's a couple of schools of thought. You can, and I'm talking about like your one-time task list, like those diamond level, like you prioritize. Gold level, you prioritize. But when it comes to getting around to like those one-time tasks that you just need to get done, there's some people who say, knock out the low-hanging fruit, knock out the ones that take you 2 minutes or less. There are other people who say you need to eat the frog and do the thing that you're dreading the most because it will give you the biggest payoff. I tend to agree with the second one. I know that I get the biggest payoff and I feel like a million times better when I eat the frog. So that is what I personally recommend, although I know it's like so hard to do that. Okay, another random tip. Turn off your Facebook notifications. Not really. I mean, I want you to get back. I want you to stay in my group, but like, I really find that, a lot of our social media is set up to like distract us and to keep us, pulled into that and distracted by so many other things. And so lately, it's almost like if I have to get on the internet, if I have to get on Facebook, or if I have to go in my email, and I have really started to try to set aside time that I go into email rather than just letting it notify me all day and check it all day. But if I have to go into Facebook, it's like I'm like running in there to get something before a bomb goes off. And then I'm like, okay, whatever it was that I was doing, I need to get it done without looking at a single other thing and get out. All right. Going back to the business planning workbook. So here's the reason why we just talked so extensively about how to, I just went off on this long tangent about how to figure out what you should do this month. Because once you figure out what you should do this month, that's kind of it's where the magic happens, because once you've figured out like, okay, I'm gonna, with my limited amount of time, you probably don't have 120 hours to spend on your business this month. Maybe you do, I don't know. With the limited amount of time you have, it's kind of peaceful and relaxing to realize, I have to do these diamond level tasks. I really can't afford to even think about the other things that are kind of eating away at my attention. Now, you do need to take care of the personal stuff like I mentioned. In fact, take care of your personal stuff and try to automate that stuff too if you can, so you're not thinking about what am I going to eat today. Meal planning, I know it's a basic, but we know this and we probably tell this to our clients, but we have a hard time taking it in for ourselves. And it's not about being the perfect meal plan at the same time as the perfect business plan either. It's just what is good enough for now, given that I'm working really hard to get a business off the ground. It is hard work, Okay. Frozen burritos. There's this brand of burritos that I really like, and I ate a lot of those last fall because they only took a minute and a half to cook, and they were vegan. I can't even remember the name of them now, but I really liked them. A little lifestyle tip there. Okay, so the next part of the business planner says, okay, so what important, I feel like I chose every word of this very carefully. What important ideas or plans are you setting aside for July? That's the next month. Write them down here because I want you guys to actually document the fact that they are important to you and that you will get to them, but not this month, because you need to give yourself permission to completely let all this stuff go, because you have already established how much time you have to work on your business and what the things are that you're going to actually do during your June sprint, okay? So the next box, write them down here, but do not work on them anymore until this month's goals are complete, okay? Now, I don't need to go back and show you guys that little graph again, but can I just remind you that you actually will get the whole, all those diamond level things or whatever, or the one big diamond level thing, all of those will go faster if you do them one at a time. If you do the website until it's done, it will go faster than if you work on it a little bit, get frustrated, do something else, come back to it, feel like you need to ask for help, but you don't get around to it. Don't Google something because you don't feel like you have time because you need to do this other thing. It's just it is that process right there is going to eat away at the time that you need to be giving to your business, and therefore the money and the profit that you could be making. And again, remember what I said. If you're choosing those diamond level tasks over everything else, those are the things that are actually going to be making you some money or getting you some client leads or whatever, while you work on other things. Now, let me go for a bigger example here, because I know I've been talking a lot about people who are starting their businesses. So we're talking about getting your website done. Okay, now when you get to be somebody like Danielle, who is having all the happy problems, she's so overwhelmed in her business because she has a million things going on. She has been thinking about creating a course for her business that would be some type of really specific organizing course for people who would be her clients, but they can take it if it's online, no matter where they are, okay? If she were to set aside the time to do that, and I know it seems hard because she has clients to be serving, and she has subcontractors, and they're still all totally booked. If she were to set that time aside, because it's a diamond level item that if she just got it done would actually make her business some money while she continued to work in her business, then can you see how just making that a complete focus of 1 month in her extra available time that she has to work on her business, she has the ability to outsource her social media to her assistant, to our social media expert. Then she can actually set aside time to work on something that is going to grow her business and grow her reach beyond just Cincinnati. Okay, so that's another great example of it seems hard to prioritize it, but when you think about it that way, it's okay, this is something that is quantifiable. There's a certain amount of steps, and then it will be done, and then it will be available on her website, and then everybody who comes to her website will see it, which is awesome. Okay, so moving right along. This might be one of my longest ones ever. I don't even know what time it is. Okay, the next page says, how will the chosen work that you chose for this month's sprint, how is this work going to get done? Here's my questions I ask you right here in the planner. Do you have what you need to complete this? Will you have to learn new skills to do it yourself? Who can you ask for help? Or can your business invest in a simpler solution to save time and stress? Those are important questions. Okay. Let me pull back an example from my list the other day. How will the chosen work get done? Okay, so here's one problem. A lot of us are really good at a lot of things. And one of the problems that, I have run into is that I actually have the ability, for example, okay, here's a great example. My organizing business website is under construction right now. I don't know if you have been to it recently, but it's under maintenance. It says we're remodeling, blah, 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 blah. I haven't even started on that because I just know that I'm remodeling it, so I went ahead and closed it, okay? But I haven't actually started on building the new site. Now, here's one problem. If I get to the point where this actually is a diamond level task for me, right now it's more of a, I don't know if it's a gold star or whatever it is, but it's not at the top of the heap quite yet, but it will be probably in the next 6 months. Here's one of the problems. One of the problems is that I could do that myself. I completely have the skills to do it. I pretty much know what I want it to look like. The problem is do I have time that I could be spending on other revenue generating activities? Is my time better spent redoing the website myself, or should I just have Emma do it because she'll do it for $700? It's like, that's the question that you have to ask yourself. So that's what this next box is about, is how are you going to get these diamond level activities done? Let's go back to the example of you doing your own website. If you want to learn how to do it yourself, or if you kind of have an inkling, like I've told you guys, like Squarespace is really easy and it's pretty simple to learn. And it's totally doable on your own. I would never tell anybody that they can't do it, because you can do it. Like, everything is Googleable. But the question is, should you do it, given either your comfort level with like the technical aspect, or if you just feel way more comfortable with somebody who has like the design eye to be able to do it for you, to like turn your vision into reality. So that's what these questions are about. And it's not just about your website, it's about any of the other things that you decided are going to be a part of your June sprint. Do you have what you need to complete this? Like, do you have the software? Do you have the whatever it is you need? There's so many free tools for everything. Like, if you need to design a logo, there's Canva, that kind of thing. Well, you have to learn new skills. A lot of what I see you guys ask about does have to do with graphic design, and there are so many, like, you have Canva, but you also have like Etsy. You guys can find low cost designers, or do it yourself, like business card templates. Like, you guys really, like, you got to do your research to find like the resources that are out there for you to be able to get these things done. Again, not perfect, just done. Like, you can always rebrand 6 months after you launch your business if you decide that it's going to make you that much more money. Third question, who can you ask for help? It is totally fine to ask for help, even if it's free help. I have an accountant I have a brother-in-law that's an accountant, so I ask him for help. Like, I take advantage of that resource and don't pretend like I need to figure it all out on my own. I have zero qualms about looking like an idiot. Like, whereas I would say earlier in my life, I would be like, oh, well, I'll feel stupid, or I'll look stupid if I ask him this question, because I'm sure like everybody knows this stuff and I don't. But like, no, like, I've gotten to a point in my life where it's like, it saves me so much more time to just admit that I have no idea. Even if I have a little bit of an idea, I'll just be like, I have no idea. And I'm not playing dumb necessarily. I'm just letting them help me with their expertise. Okay, and then, can your business invest in a simpler solution to save time and stress? Now, this is all, based on what is causing you stress or taking you a lot of time. But there are a lot of great things out there, of course. As I mentioned at the beginning of our chat. Pro Organizer Studio is here to help you, and I would love your feedback on how we can help you, either in the content of our videos or the content of the resource library or anything else you can think of, because try to be creative. Okay, and then we're getting near the end, and I'll leave the last 2 pages because we don't have to go through those in super detail because they're self-explanatory. So probably the last thing we'll talk about is daily questions. It says print or write these on a sticky note for everyday visibility. Like, make sure that this is top of mind. 3 questions. What did I do yesterday to meet my sprint goal, the monthly goal? What will I do today to meet my monthly goal? And are there any obstacles that prevent me or my team from meeting the monthly goal? Because removing the obstacles that you come in contact with is a big, that really is a part of your job as the business owner. Like, let's go back to Danielle's example. Danielle is slammed booked for the next 2 months, and she already has subcontractors that work for her. But whose job is it if something comes up in her business that prevents her or her team from doing their best work? Danielle is responsible for that because she's the business owner. So she is the one who has to set aside time to, come up with a system, come up with a policy, if something, I don't know, I can't even come up with like a great example, but something that would, like if her website goes down, clearly that is a huge obstacle. But like Danielle has to, nix everything in the middle of her month just to make sure that she can get that back up and running, because otherwise her business is failing. So that is not failing, but it's temporarily stalled. Okay. So that would be like an obstacle that is preventing you or your team from meeting your goal. So that's just something you always need to kind of like be asking yourself, like, what are the things that I'm running into that are a pain point? Like that's the simplest version of that question. Something that's really frustrating you. For example, when I talk about like not being able to get to my Gmail calendars all at once, like that's annoying and that's costing me time. So anyway, so the last 2 pages, one is about reviewing how you're doing in the middle of June or the middle of your month. And then the last part is, this is also part of the SCRUM framework, is a monthly review or a sprint review. And this is mandatory in SCRUM project management and Agile project management, is to do a review, because you need to learn from like how your last sprint went and how to plan a better one for the next time. Because think about this, by the time you're doing your review for June, you need to be repeating this process for July, and you probably will have a better idea after you've done this for a few months, or at least 1 month of, okay, now I can kind of have a sense of how quickly I do work on things. Like if I have 20 hours, here's like, you'll have a better idea of how quickly you can get things accomplished, so that you can plan better for July. Okay, questions, June review. What did I accomplish? What isn't done that I thought I would get done? And is it still a diamond level? Because that needs to be pushed as part of July. Like you can't neglect it. It's part of the deal. What held me back this month? This can be something like, I stayed up too late 14 times in a row, and then I was exhausted for 2 days and couldn't do anything but sleep and skip Facebook Live. Like that would be like a what held me back this month kind of thing. What processes or tools do I need to improve on in July? What do I know now? What do I know now that changes my big picture goals? And what feedback did I get from my team, my clients, or my business partners that would change your goals or your next steps for July? And here's another like really important thing. And I promise you guys I'm going to wrap this up. One of the really important things with Agile and Scrum that I learned in my nerd reading is that unlike a traditional project, like the traditional project management methods means you're going to make like a plan from here for the next 12 months. Like you're going to actually spend the time right today and make a plan for, all the way to June of 2018. And don't laugh, because I bet you there's a ton of us right now who think that we could do this right now for ourselves and our lives and our business. I know that I feel that way sometimes. I'm like, oh my God, I'm just going to like sit down, make a yearly plan. Like I'm going to know exactly what I'm doing in 3 months. And like, I'm going to do this for the next 3 months. And then I'll focus on this in the winter, then spring, and then summer. And then like, I know exactly how my business is going to go. Like I have that dream or that ideal that I would be able to do that. But here's the problem is that we don't know at all. Like we don't, it's like the answer is E, not enough information. That is the answer. We don't have any idea like what's going to come up between now and then. So actually, in the Agile framework, you don't plan more than one sprint at a time. Like you don't plan in detail more than one sprint at a time. You push everything into the later category, okay? Because the idea is that once you get to July, like we're at the beginning of June right now, and I know it seems crazy, but a lot of stuff's going to happen in the next few weeks that we don't know about yet, and some of that could affect our business. So why waste time planning in detail July when we're not there yet, and we're going to know more when we get there, and so then we're going to have more information to be able to realistically set some goals, make some plans. So the whole idea again is to not waste time on something that's going to inherently change. And I think that that's probably one of the most freeing things about this way of project management is that I feel like it's just okay. It's just okay to say that's important to me. It's clearly important to me, but it's not on my schedule yet, and I will get to it after I finish my website or whatever the case may be. It's like I've got to single focus. I've got to single task, because if I start jumping ahead to something else, I'm going to actually lose momentum and I'm not going to make progress on either thing. And another thing that I tell you guys this on the little intro overview on the business planning workbook is that if you jump around between 5 different projects and none of them are 100% done, then you're kind of at overall, nothing is really done. Like nothing is actually done. Like everything's just sort of like everything is sort of in progress. Like what's the status? I don't know. But if you just do one thing at a time until it's 100% like functioning, done, like that app we were talking about, developing an app that is going to make you money so that you can fund the next phase of the project, like that's all you got to focus on right now. Helpful? I feel like I don't want to make this more overwhelming. I just feel like I'm in my zone when I'm talking about this. Ironically, I suck at this sometimes. I mean, but you know, the interesting thing though is that I think that this is something that you know can really help you with your clients also. And this is definitely something that I have learned over time. And I do tell you guys this when people ask for like a project estimate, and Lainey and I have both talked about this. You know, can you estimate the amount of time that this project is going to take, this organizing project is going to take, and how much it's going to cost me? And you have to say, well, there's too many unknowns right now, and I can't give you an accurate estimate ahead of time. I mean, I sell my time in packages so that we can sort of do a mini sprint. Like if you've bought a package of 4 sessions with me, then I know we have 12 hours to accomplish the things that are diamond level in your life, okay? And that's all you can, and I don't use those words, but that's all you can really say to your client at that point, because here's why. You don't know, like, you know how fast you work. You don't know how fast they work, and they don't know how fast they work. And you don't know what you guys are like together as a team. So there's a lot of factors that go into it that you really just can't know ahead of time. And usually what I will tell them is after we've completed, you just tell them, like, we could start with a package of 4 sessions, even if they know they need to do more, like even if they know they have their whole house. As I say, we can start with a package of 4 sessions, and then after we get those done, I'll be able to give you a little bit better estimate. Like that's what I say. I'll be able to give you a little bit better estimate after we work together for a while, because then I'll have a sense of how quickly we can move together as a team. You get to know each other better, and then you can actually start working a little bit faster. All this is actually talked about in like when you learn about how Scrum teams work together, and this is all like, yes, this is all like very corporate, but it's so applicable to what we do. Like they actually talk about this. The Scrum team doesn't know how quick they're going to move at first, but then once they spend some time together, work through a few sprints, then they can start to project a little more accurately how quickly the whole project is going to get done. All right, Lena says, amazing. I'm not even kidding. I needed this so much. Yay. Okay, Vayana says, I kind of feel that way with having several clients, so I'm hoping to book one client a month to finish it completely, then move on to the next client instead of having them all spread out in a month together. That is, that's one way to do it. My only question, Vayana, is if the client is available to knock out her entire project all at once, and if that's what she is capable of doing. One, because it can be sort of like emotionally taxing for them to do all that. I mean, you know, sometimes they're just like, I can handle 1 day a week or whatever. And then other clients do want, they're like, oh, if you can come for two weeks straight and we can do a session every day for 2 weeks straight, then they would love that. But so I just have to wonder, like, if you know, if you can maximize your time the best, sometimes having several clients at once is really helpful. And if you're having any issues with managing multiple clients at the same time, I have a blog post that has and this is in the resource library too, I have a blog post that's a client process template that goes into a project management tool called Asana, which I really love. I don't use it perfectly, but I use it, and that's the important thing. Vayana, you could and Asana is free to use, so you could download that client process template and upload it, and then copy and paste that template into a new project for each client. And then as you set up dates for each line of the project according to what you've agreed to with your client, and then that way you can look at a calendar and you can see where you are with all of your clients, like on any given day. Like one client you might just be starting, another client you might be wrapping up, and then you have another client that's like, okay, I should be asking them for a testimonial because we're completely done. Okay, Becca said, or you can subcontract instead of having, yes. So Vayana, if you are starting to get overwhelmed with having multiple clients at a time, subcontracting is definitely an option. Lena says she's loving Asana. I'm so glad, Lena, because I think when you and I talked on the phone, you were just getting into it, right? Okay, Jenny says she enjoyed it. I'm so glad you were here, Jenny. Does anybody else have a question about the business planner or project management, or why I think the way I do? I don't know. Autumn says, way too many goals. I love the diamond tasks. I definitely feel all over the place sometimes. Yes. And yes, I do too. Trust me, I know. Hunter says she loves Asana so much, so hard actually, she said. Vayana says, thank you, I'll use that. Okay, awesome. Vayana said, I guess I need to shut my brain once I'm done. I need to shut my brain once I'm done with the session. I don't have dreams anymore, but I stay up thinking about the project instead. That's kind of cool, actually. I don't know how to shut my brain off, so if you guys figure out a way, let me know. Becca said, okay, this is a good question. Becca said, what do you do when you can't get a task off your mind, even if it's not a diamond task? I just do it. That's me, though, because I will jump around if it feels like I have to. Chrissy says, thank you for explaining my brain for the first time. Holy moly, that was a huge compliment. Well, I hope that it helped you. Alicia says, thank you guys. Jenny says, your brain works a lot like ours. Okay, good. So I feel like, okay, this is good. I'm glad I'm talking to some people who understand me a little bit. Erica says, so true everything you said. A brain and body can't multitask, but we are built to single task, more efficient and logical. Great talk, Jen. Awesome. Vayana says, let me know too, please, about turning your brain off. Okay, y'all, this was really, really awesome. Thank you guys again. And will you please just you know, if you're using the planner, if you love it, or even if you found one part of it that is like indispensable for you, will you, I don't know, I haven't ever asked you guys to do this before, but like post about it on Instagram, tag me, like say like, hey, I did my planner, I feel like $1,000,000 or something. Like that would be nice. If you feel like it was worth the $7, that's good too. But I want you to feel like $1,000,000, and I want you to feel like you're super on top of everything with your business, etc., etc. By the way, that comment I just made, this does not cost $7, but the resource library is a subscription that has this plus a whole bunch of other things, and it is $6.99 a month. The planner is not separate. It's all part of the same thing. All right, cool. Christy said, I'm actually headed to the doctor tomorrow because of my brain. She says, I'm not even kidding. Okay, well, I hope that that all goes well. And you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for staying on with me. Sorry to keep you so late. I hope you have a wonderful night. And last minute announcement, next week is going to be amazing. I'm just going to leave that there. It's going to be so good because I am going to have a guest like here, like sitting here with me, not a guest host, but like a double host. And it's going to be amazing. It's going to be all about creating the luxury client experience for your clients, luxury customer service experience for your clients. It's going to be fantastic. I am so happy. So happy. All right. Good night, everybody. See you next week.